Hi, this is Andy Collin and Chris Pomeroy from Growing Up Aspen, Adventures of the Unsupervised, and we are here with our podcast Movie Chat with some of our local students and friends that went off into the movie and entertainment industry. Today we are here with Laurel Carini, who you may recognize in the background of many TV shows, or you might recognize her voice on Transylvania 2. Here's Laurel Carini. Well, so let's go with some of the Aspen actors and pick a movie of them, Like
Oh yeah.
I had mentioned if I were going to say Kevin Costner, I'd pick American Flyers because it was uh, kind of him in his younger times. It was a good film. It kind of was about the Red Zinger, which took place in Colorado, so I kind of like that. Uh,
Yes.
Ian's wife is in it. We didn't know that at the time, but
Oh really?
his wife, yeah, there's the little girl with all the colored hair.
Mm.
The hitchhiker that glums onto the group and helps out. That she ends up
Oh,
she ended up being his wife.
okay.
But so like Goldie Hawn, there's all kind. I mean, she did funny movies, she did serious movies.
Yeah. Classics.
She's done a lot. Um, I think for me, with her, seems like old times. I don't know if you saw that. That's
Mm.
the one with Chevy Chase. I
I
saw that
did.
at
Yes.
the Playhouse, and I
Loved that.
kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. They were so great together. I always loved when they were together. We belonged to the Snowmass Club and they were members, and so I loved seeing them on screen together. Overboard was by far hands down my favorite.
Yeah.
Right? And my uncle was the captain of the ship
Oh,
in that
really?
movie,
Oh, that's
Frank Campanella.
awesome. Oh,
He
that's
was
awesome.
My uncle Joe Campanella is his brother. Joe Campanella was a much more successful actor, but Frank was always funny, and he was a good friend of Gary Marshall's. Gary Marshall would put him in movies. He was in Pretty Woman, just funny. Gary Marshall, another amazing LA small town guy. He was the coolest. I mean, those are the movies.
Yeah.
Those are the
Yeah.
movies.
It's true. It's yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of the thing. I feel like I one of the things that I've noticed with a lot of, I mean, because I saw Gus Van Sant out here. He was the filmmaker out here, and I got to see his career because he started with Drugstore Cowboy, and then To Die For, or Idaho, My Own Private Idaho, and then To Die For, and then he went and did Good Will Hunting and became Hollywood.
Mm.
And he always tried to go back, but the problem was every time Hollywood would fund him, it was like you had to do this and this and this, not go back to your old friends that you made these films with. You know what I mean? It's like you got to use this sound guy, you got to use this person here and this editor, and it's not like the group that he had before. And I feel like there's a few filmmakers that I've seen that where once they got into Hollywood, it kind of changed them. You
Yeah, the
know?
big studios, they put stipulations on things, and that has changed many people's careers,
Yeah,
sadly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Too many cooks.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, there's those independent guys like the Coen brothers that have always been on their own setup, and it's their funding. You either fund them or you don't. That's it. That's all you're gonna get, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were
I
smart.
think
They didn't take the bait. They just stayed their own,
Right.
which I respect them for so much.
Yeah. Wes Anderson is kind of in that category, I think.
Yeah.
mhm.
You know,
Yeah, totally.
one of my friends directed Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Mm.
So he was a Vinton's guy and did all the California Raisin stuff. And then when Wes was wanting to do Fantastic Mr. Fox, he left and went to England to go work with the Aardman folks and did Fantastic Mr. Fox. So he kind of ran the show. And then he ended up winning an Oscar with Guillermo del Toro for Pinocchio with Netflix.
Wow.
So yeah, so he had some fun folks to work with. I mean, Wes Anderson, Guillermo, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Well, I'd say let's see, what other questions can we ask?
I mean, I'm not that exciting, really. If I were
Yes,
on a
you are.
TV,
What do
if I
you?
were on a TV show right now, it would be different.
Your hosts are kind of lame right now. It's not you.
Oh, that's funny.
Can't
Let's
think of
just
a
do
good.
let's just do a basic one. Like if you had to pick 8 films that you would like, different genres, different stuff that you felt like are films that really hit you in a certain way, that you hold are special?
or shows.
What would it be?
I don't know that I could think of eight, but
Okay, well, let's all.
Forrest Gump is a huge.
Yes.
I remember I couldn't leave the theater because I was so moved, and I went to a premiere of it, and I was so moved by it that I couldn't get up. Like that's how incredible I think that movie was. And they don't make them like that anymore, so they're probably going to go back to it or try or right.
Well,
Um,
I did a double feature with that movie with Being There,
oh, cool.
which is kind of
Oh,
similar,
cool.
but before, it's like Forrest Gump kind of takes it to the next level in a way.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
Well,
I
maybe
mean,
Marvel will get a hold of it, and you'd be Forrest Gump 2.0
yeah.
action hero.
Marvel. Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah.
Well, let's see. I feel
Give
like
us another one. What Forrest
Uh,
Gump?
I mean, Shawshank Redemption, so different, but again, another one that when you're young and you're watching it and you can still watch it at 50, and it moves you like it does. I just think those movies are super special.
Hmm.
Um, I love Nora Ephron stuff. I feel like,
yeah,
all of that is so great. Sleepless in Seattle. What are the other ones?
yeah. She
Geez.
was big for a while there.
You've
She was
You've
doing
got
did she do
mail.
You've Got
You've
Mail?
got
Yeah.
mail. I mean, they're so special because the characters are so great. Not because of Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, but just because, they were
Hmm.
so well written and witty and smart, and I love stuff like that. So I really appreciate those films. And when I see a new film today that even compares at all, I give it credit because it deserves it. It's hard to find right now.
it feels to me like those kind of films now are the unique special people like Wes Anderson when he comes
Yeah,
out with his film, or it feels to me like it's less about the studio and more about the individual.
yeah,
Maybe the studios will start to do that. Maybe they will say, "Oh, we've got so and so," and then they start to promote not just the studio but the individuals. That's sort of like spreading out your promotions rather than keeping it around just you. You know.
yeah. I hope so. Right? I do. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
feel
mean,
like,
it feels like they're trying to when they like promote The Rock or promote Lilo and Stitch now. They've
yeah,
got The Rock and the whole cast, and everybody's out there. And Rock, he's got a part, but it's not huge, but it's a part, and but he's out there, and so they're promoting with people, which is kind of
Well,
interesting.
but that's the thing with, I think a long time ago, someone figured out that your best marketing for a film is an A-list actor that's already got a lot going for him.
Yeah,
For example, if I see something that De Niro's in, I'm automatically going to go see it. And I think most of America is that way about whatever their favorite actor is. And The Rock and John Cena or whatever, whoever it is, Marky Mark. Uh, if you're spending $23 million on a salary, are you really just paying the salary, or is it your marketing budget? And I guess that's what I'm getting at.
right. Well,
yeah. And there's a whole other conversation, a whole other podcast about how are those actors when our generation goes away, which is slowly happening. The Harrison Fords, the Robert De Niro's, the Tom Cruises, they're getting older.
right,
And
Mhm.
who are those as young people? I don't see them. I don't know about you guys, but
right.
Maybe like a John Favreau or somebody, or yeah, I don't even
Yeah, but even
know.
John Favreau's getting older. I mean,
right.
he's behind those guys. You're talking Robert
Yeah.
Redford, but Favreau's
Tarantino.
getting old too.
Clint
Yeah,
Eastwood, those, right? Do you get what I'm at? Like
Yeah, Clint Eastwood,
Timothy
absolutely.
nice
Yeah.
guy.
Timothy Chalamet, he's young, he's extremely talented,
Yeah,
but I can only think of him.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
So,
and a
yeah,
complete unknown. He just knocked it out of the park. I mean,
yeah,
it's a little bit like Jamie Foxx with um,
right.
who was that? He did Ray.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Right, Charlie. Yeah. Yeah, incredible. Yeah,
yeah.
we could go on and on and on, but we won't.
Well, you do have some though. I was thinking about like Guy Ritchie's stuff, with Tom. What's his name? Not Tom Hardy. I can never remember
Guy
his name, but
Ritchie is the director and producer on him.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Mobland is the one I've been watching
Uh-huh.
lately, which is incredible. It's
Guy
really
Guy
good.
Ritchie's kind of like the guy who did Batman. What's his name? I get them confused sometimes. The guy who did Batman, the one with
Uh,
Heath Ledger.
He produced it?
Yeah, the
Or
director.
yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know.
Nolan, Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I get him mixed up a little bit with
With Guy Ritchie. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, anyways, all right. Well,
yeah,
that's
Tom Hardy.
You guys, thanks for having me. This was
yeah,
fun. Just to kind of
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I know.
talk about stuff,
I'm
right?
gonna be up there in September for the reunion, so maybe we'll I'll get
What
to
year
have a drink somewhere or
reunion,
something.
Andy? Let's just say it out loud.
It's what?
What year reunion?
40?
Wow.
Yeah, I
I think
know.
we
Number
have total
40.
losers that are in charge of our reunions because I haven't had one in forever.
I know. Well,
But
your sister was our president.
oh, you don't stand a chance.
And I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
we had the whole class and everybody was sort of the thing. So it's just sort of happening. I think, see, Chris and
Yeah,
Missy Brinkman and a few people
that's
are
great.
putting it up. Yeah.
Well,
So,
and like you said, growing up in Aspen, if I came, everyone would welcome me,
right. Yeah.
even though I'm 4 years younger than all of you. That's the great thing about reunions here.
Yeah. And not only that, like I said, those 4 years, everybody was like, oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it would be glad to see you.
yeah.
It's not like, oh, you're not part of our class.
Right. Yeah.
I went
Well,
to
and
the, I
yeah,
went to
it's
the
such small
84.
classes that I think that would be
We need people.
you need people to eat the hors d'oeuvres that they spent all that money on, you know.
Well, like I went to the 84 reunion and those guys were like, well, you can come to this, but you can't come to that and blah, blah, blah. And it was like,
Oh,
okay, all right. Whereas, all right, we'll see. We're going to change that one up on our reunion.
yeah. Good. Good.
So,
Awesome.
all right. Well,
Well,
yeah,
it's awesome talking with you.
Thank you
yeah.
guys so much. Love that.
Hi, this is Growing Up Aspen. Glad you enjoyed that last little blast, and I hope you stick around for a few more. We want to, the authors of Growing Up Aspen Adventures of the Unsupervised would like to thank you and ask you to, if you're interested, you can check out our book at twistandturnpress.com, or any local bookstore can order our book. So we will talk to you soon and hear more from some of our friends. Thanks.